It's 3 in the morning. The house is dark, and you are awake, because they are. You hear the television turn on in the living room, or you see the light go on in their bedroom for the third time, or perhaps they are simply up for the day at 4:30 a.m. while you are utterly exhausted. It's so easy to feel frustrated, or to worry that something is terribly wrong. It's easy to think they're not getting enough sleep, or that they're not trying, or that you are failing as a caregiver because you can't get them to sleep like normal. But what if I told you that their brains are simply responding perfectly to a new set of biological rules? What if the architecture of their sleep has fundamentally changed, and what you're seeing isn't a failure of sleep, but a different kind of sleep? Today, we are going to stop worrying about if they are sleeping and start understanding how they are sleeping. To understand what's happening, we need to move past the simple idea of 8 hours and look at the science of sleep architecture. This refers to the structure and pattern of sleep, which is made up of different stages. First, let's look at the master clock. Deep in the brain, in the hypothalamus, is a tiny cluster of cells called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN. This is your body's master clock. It controls your 24-hour cycles, known as your circadian rhythm. The SCN gets its main cue from one thing: light. Here is the first biological change. As we age, the SCN can become less sensitive. The signal it sends out, and its ability to read light cues from the eyes, can weaken. The master clock isn't as robust as it used to be. This SCN is directly responsible for signaling the release of melatonin, the hormone of darkness. Melatonin doesn't force you to sleep. It signals to your entire body that it's nighttime and time to prepare for sleep. Here is the second change. In aging adults, the brain often produces less melatonin, but just as importantly, it's released earlier. This is a key concept called phase advancement. Because the melatonin signal arrives earlier in the evening, your parent may feel sleepy at 7 p.m. And if they go to sleep at 7 p.m., their 8 hours might be over by 3 or 4 a.m. Their clock has literally shifted. But the most significant change, the one that explains that 3 a.m. television, is the change to the sleep stages themselves. When we sleep, we cycle through stages: light sleep, stages 1 and 2, deep sleep, stage 3, or slow wave sleep, and REM dream sleep. Deep sleep is the critical stage for physical repair, memory consolidation, and waking up feeling restored. It's the good stuff. Here is the biological reality. Starting as early as our 30 seconds, the amount of time we spend in this restorative deep sleep begins to decline. By the time we are 70 or 80, the brain may get very little, or sometimes almost no, true deep sleep. Instead, the brain spends much more time in the lighter stages, particularly stage 1 and 2. And here is the crucial connection. Light sleep is, by definition, light. It's the easily woken sleep. So, when your parent seems to be waking up all the time, it's not because they are bad sleepers. It's because their brain is spending the majority of the night in a fragile, light sleep state. A small sound, a change in temperature, or the need to use the bathroom things they would have slept right through 30 years ago, is now enough to pull them all the way to wakefulness. So, let's recap the why. It's a three-part biological shift: a weaker master clock, the SCN, a shifted, weaker darkness signal, malating to an earlier bedtime, and, most importantly, a collapse of deep sleep, leaving them in a fragile, easily broken light sleep for most of the night. Once we understand this science, we can stop trying to force an old solution onto a new biological reality. The goal is not to cure their sleep. The goal is to make their new sleep pattern as safe, efficient, and restorative as possible. Here are 3 science-backed strategies to work with their biology, not against it. First, anchor the master clock. We know the SCN is weaker and needs a stronger signal. The most powerful signal is light. The strategy is to expose your parent to bright light, ideally sunlight, for 15 to 30 minutes in the morning. This does not have to be strenuous. Simply sitting by a bright, open window while eating breakfast can work. This bright morning light hits the retina, sends a powerful wake up signal to the SCN, and helps to lock in and anchor their 24-hour clock. Conversely, you must dim the lights at night. Bright, blue spectrum light from TVs, tablets, or overhead lights can trick the SCN into thinking it's still daytime, further confusing the weak melatonin signal. Use warm, dim lamps in the evening. Second, create a landing strip for sleep. Since the melatonin signal is weaker, you can't just flick a switch and expect sleep. You need to create a consistent, calming landing strip. This is about a cool-down ritual. The body's core temperature naturally needs to drop to initiate sleep. A warm, not hot, bath an hour before bed can actually help this process, as the body will cool down rapidly afterward, signaling sleep. A set, unhurried routine, a specific time when the TV goes off, the lights are dimmed, perhaps some calm music reinforces the SCN's nighttime cue. Third, manage the fragmentation. This is the most important for your sanity and their safety. Accept that they will wake up. The goal is to make these awakenings safe and brief. The safety part? Ensure the path to the bathroom is clear of clutter. Install dim, warm, amber, or red motion sensor nightlights. Red light is critical, as it does not disrupt melatonin production the way blue or white light does. The brief part. Teach them the 20-minute rule. If they wake up and can't get back to sleep after 20 minutes, they should not lie in bed feeling anxious. That teaches the brain the bed is a place for anxiety. They should get up, go to another room with a dim light, and do something calm and boring, like reading a dull book. No screens. When they feel sleepy again, they return to bed. This reassociates the bed with sleeping, not worrying. Understanding the science is the first step to empowerment. If you want to continue replacing stress with scientific clarity, I invite you to join our community by subscribing. And please, share your own journey in the comments below. Your story matters here.